What are the people in charge really doing? Newt Gingrich, former Speaker of the House, has a blunt answer. He claims every member of Joe Biden's cabinet has failed their constitutional duties. This isn't just political theater. Gingrich is accusing the entire executive branch of abandoning their oaths. He's not talking about policy disagreements, but a deliberate shift away from serving the country to serving political interests. Gingrich's warning comes during the chaotic final months of the Biden presidency, a time marked by controversial decisions and political unrest. He points to the White House floating pardons for political allies, something he says belongs in a banana republic, not America. Gingrich's accusation is a call to look past the headlines and ask, are our leaders upholding the trust we gave them? He argues this is about more than politics. It's about the rules that are supposed to govern our leaders. Are those rules still in effect, or have they been replaced by loyalty to party over country? Gingrich's challenge forces a conversation Washington would rather avoid. It's about power, accountability, and the future of the republic. The question is simple. Are those in power still bound by the Constitution, or have they rewritten the rules for themselves? Gingrich's words are a warning flare, one that demands attention. The stakes, he says, are nothing less than the survival of constitutional government. What is a cabinet member? They're the heads of major federal departments: Defense, Treasury, State, Justice, nominated by the President, confirmed by the Senate. Their job isn't just ceremonial. They swear an oath to support and defend the Constitution, not just the President. Each runs a vast part of the government, making decisions that affect our safety, economy, and freedoms. Their duty is to execute the laws passed by Congress and give the President honest advice, even when it's inconvenient. The founders designed the cabinet as a check on power, not a cheering section. Cabinet members are accountable to Congress and the American people, not just the President. When they put politics above their oath, they undermine the foundation of our republic. In today's Washington, loyalty to the President often trumps competence or constitutional commitment. Cabinet secretaries are expected to defend the administration, even if it means staying silent when they disagree. This creates an echo chamber where bad decisions go unchallenged and constitutional lines get blurred. Gingrich's claim comes in this context, a system where the public trust is at risk. The cabinet's job is to be stewards of the law, not just political operatives. When that line is crossed, the consequences ripple through the entire government. The erosion of this ideal, Gingrich argues, is at the heart of the current crisis. The question, are cabinet members still guardians of the Constitution or just loyalists? Gingrich's charge is sweeping. Every Biden cabinet member, he says, has violated their oath. The core of his argument, they allowed their departments to be used for politics, not principle. Take the border crisis. The Secretary of Homeland Security, by law, must secure the border. Yet millions entered illegally, and the cabinet defended the policy. Gingrich calls this a dereliction of duty, a refusal to enforce laws passed by Congress. The Attorney General, he argues, failed to ensure equal justice, pursuing some cases zealously while slow-walking others. Even the appearance of political bias, Gingrich says, shatters public faith in the legal system. Across the board, he sees cabinet members enabling the president's agenda, not checking it. When the White House floated preemptive pardons for allies, Gingrich asks, did any cabinet member object? Their silence, he says, was complicity. For Gingrich, this isn't about policy. It's about abandoning the duty to the Constitution. The cabinet, he argues, became loyal foot soldiers, not independent guardians. Their failure, in his view, is collective and fundamental. The silence of the cabinet, Gingrich insists, is the loudest evidence of all. In his eyes, they chose loyalty to the team over loyalty to the country. That, he says, is the ultimate failure of duty. What's a preemptive pardon? It's when a president forgives someone for crimes they haven't even been charged with. The most famous example, Ford pardoning Nixon after Watergate. In late 2024, reports surfaced that the Biden White House considered preemptive pardons, not for a former president, but for political allies like Dr. Fauci and Adam Schiff. The goal shielded them from possible investigations by a future Trump administration. Gingrich called this a profound abuse of power, turning the pardon into a political weapon. Why would an innocent person need a pardon, he asks. The act itself implies guilt and creates a two-tiered justice system. Even some Democrats, including Schiff, oppose the idea, warning it would set a dangerous precedent. The very discussion, Gingrich argues, shows contempt for equal justice and a willingness to twist the Constitution for political gain. If preemptive pardons become normal, the rule of law is at risk. The episode for Gingrich is proof of a system willing to protect its own at any cost. The line between justice and politics, he warns, is vanishing. The consequences could be lasting. If preemptive pardons were controversial, the actual pardon of Hunter Biden was explosive. In December 2024, President Biden pardoned his son after a felony gun conviction, despite earlier promises not to interfere. Critics called it blatant nepotism and an abuse of power, erasing the verdict of a jury. The pardon sent a message. There are different rules for the president's family. Hunter still faced other investigations, but the pardon fueled fears of broader immunity. Congressman James Comer speculated about even wider pardons for the Biden family. For Gingrich, this was the clearest proof yet of a two-tiered justice system. While January 6 protesters remained in jail, the president's son walked free. The contrast, he argued, was impossible to ignore. The act set a precedent. The pardon power, once a tool of mercy, now looked like a political perk. The fallout shook Washington and the public's trust. Gingrich's supporters see a pattern rules and laws bent for political gain. They point to the border crisis as a deliberate refusal to enforce immigration law, a choice, not a failure. The Justice Department, they argue, targeted political opponents while slow-walking cases involving Democrats. Economic decisions like student loan forgiveness were struck down as executive overreach. Cabinet members, critics say, cheered on these moves instead of providing legal restraint. The pardon controversies capped it all. Personal loyalty trumped the rule of law. For Gingrich's camp, this isn't just politics, it's a betrayal of public trust. The cabinet, they argue, enabled the president's worst impulses. Instead of being constitutional guardians, they became political operatives. The result, a government where accountability is lost. The consequences, they warn, are profound. Not everyone buys Gingrich's argument. Many Democrats see his claims as partisan attacks, not serious legal charges. They argue the cabinet's actions were legal and within the norms of modern politics. On the border, they say the administration tried a humane approach to a complex problem. The Justice Department, they insist, restored integrity after years of politicization. The January 6th investigation, they argue, was a necessary response to an unprecedented attack on democracy. Claims of a two-tiered justice system, they say, are conspiracy theories. The Hunter Biden pardon, in their view, was an act of compassion for a son struggling with addiction. As for preemptive pardons, they note the idea was rejected, even by Democrats. To them, Gingrich is manufacturing scandal where none exists. So where does this leave us? The debate over the Biden cabinet and the pardon power cuts to the core of American government. If presidents can pardon family or allies at will, what message does that send? That the law doesn't apply to the powerful. Preemptive pardons could turn mercy into a political weapon, shielding officials from accountability. This risks creating a permanent political class above the law. Gingrich's accusations raise the stakes. Opposition is no longer about policy, but legitimacy. The incoming Trump administration has signaled it may retaliate, fueling a cycle of political retribution. This tit-for-tat threatens to turn government into a battlefield, not a forum for solutions. For democracy to work, everyone, especially those in power, must play by the same rules. When those rules are bent for political gain, trust in the system collapses. Whether you agree with Gingrich or not, the questions he raises about power, loyalty, and justice are fundamental. How we answer them will shape the future of the republic. The stakes are high. Will America remain a nation of laws, or become a nation ruled by the powerful? The answer will define our future.